All right, and I'm going to pause so you're aware of that. And now I'm going to admit everybody. And Andre, moving forward, if anybody else comes in, I'm going to ask you to just admit them from the waiting room, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. Terrific.
There, where are we?
Oh, there's Michael.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I regret the delay. We had a few technical difficulties, but we're happy to start now. Everything looks on track. My name is Veronica Aplenc, and I am co-chair of the Center City Residents Association Zoning Committee, and welcome to you all. So that you are aware, this meeting is being recorded. We ask that you kindly mute yourself until you are called upon to speak. That will avoid anyone unintentionally overlapping one another in speech, and it will also allow us to avoid any unfortunate reverberations and feedback. I would like to let you know that we have had a change in our meeting agenda. We have had one group that has dropped out. And so we will only hear two cases tonight. And specifically, we will hear 2314 Delancey Place, and then we will hear 1904 to 40 Sampson Street. We will not hear 2321 Spruce Street. They emailed today that they are not able to present. If you are here for 2321 Spruce Street, please feel free to jump off the call. We anticipate that they will be in the March meeting, and this will be announced as all of our meetings are announced. Now, I'd like to read our standard introduction. So again, my name is Veronica Aplenc. I'm co-chair of the Center City Residents Association Zoning Committee, and welcome to you all. Welcome to the Center City Residents Association Zoning Committee. The CCRA is a 75+ year nonprofit civic association. As a nonprofit, we encourage everyone to become a member, which can easily be done through our website. There are several benefits to being a member, one of which is being notified of all proposed zoning changes within our area. CCRA is the recognized registered community organization, RCO, for our area. Our boundaries are from South Street to JFK Boulevard and Broad Street to the Schuylkill River. Our committee works as follows. In these meetings, first, we ask applicants to present. We ask applicants to address the specific refusals or referrals. We ask for no interruption as applicants give their full presentation. After the presentation, the zoning committee will have a chance to ask questions. And after the zoning committee's questions are completed, we open the meeting to the community. When addressed, we ask that you state your name and address. We ask that you keep your questions succinct and to the variance, the zoning issue being addressed. We also ask that people not repeat others' questions. If you agree with someone's position, you are welcome to simply state that you agree. If there's a spokesperson for the neighbors, we ask that this person speak first for the group. After we hear from all applicants and listen to the community comments, our committee votes and meets in closed session. We vote in one of three ways: oppose, not oppose, or not oppose with provisos. CCRA never votes in favor of any application. Our decision is emailed to the council person, the ZBA, and the applicant, and is also posted on the CCRA website. Importantly, no matter how we decide, if you are concerned with a project, we strongly recommend that you attend the ZBA hearing. This is the best way to make your concerns known. The CCRA zoning committee cannot express the neighbor's point of view. Only a property owner or aggrieved individual may express their personal concerns to the ZBA. And with that said, our first applicant will be the first property listed on our agenda, which is 2314 Delancey Place. This is an application for the erection of a deck at the rear of an existing attached structure and the creation of 2 off-street surface parking spaces for use as a single-family household living. Size and location will be shown. The reasons for the refusal are, whereas off-street parking shall not be provided for any one-family or two-family use located in a residential parking control area, except for parking accessed by a shared driveway or rear alley, which is permitted but not required, and minimum distance from the proposed vertical support elements to the side lot lines. So for our first property, 2314 Delancey Place, do we have representatives from that property here tonight? If so, I welcome that you, hello, I see you all. I welcome that you unmute yourself and I invite you to take the floor.
Yes, well, Veronica, thank you so much for the introduction and the opportunity to present this project to the community. My name is Alan Knockomson of Knockomson PC, and I represent Patrick and Shanley with regards to this property. And in the virtual audience too is Logan Dry, their architect. And we're going to present this project. Can I share my screen?
Please do, Alan.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right, so this is a very straightforward project. And when I say project loosely, this is not a developer. Patrick and Shanley live actually close by. They've lived in this neighborhood for almost 10 years, and they're looking to move to 2314 Delancey Place as their primary residence. So during the presentation, we'll review the notice of refusal, the streets approval number, it's SR-2022-014236, which shows that this project has been reviewed by the Streets Department because of the off-street parking nature of the project. We also made a concerted effort to reach out to our nearby neighbors. We know that this is not in place of any vote of the people who are attending the community meeting, but we wanted to show that we did make a concerted effort to reach out to people who are nearby who would be most directly impacted by this project. So you'll see letters of support from nearby neighbors as well as a petition, and we did a map to kind of show where they are in close proximity. Then we'll also then show a picture showing that what we're proposing in terms of this off-street parking is not out of character to this portion of the neighborhood, specifically 2316 and 2318 Delancey Place. And then in addition, we did a view of the 2300 block of Delancey Street or Place, where there's other examples of rear accessory off-street parking. Most importantly, again, we go street to street from Delancey to Panama. We're not taking away any on-street parking. There's no parking allowed on this side of the street. So by allowing us to have 2 parking spots would, in a way, lessen the burden on the neighborhood from a parking situation. Then we'll review maps of the area, photographs of the property, our plans and drawings, and the most simplistic plans and drawings, because we're just showing you a site plan because, again, this is an RM1 property that was converted to single family residence. Again, Patrick and Shanley are living there. And the only reason why we're here today is they're trying to add on the off-street parking. And then we'll talk about a technical refusal about the deck as well. And then we'll go after our plans and drawings, we'll show you proof of mailing of our RCO meeting notice. Again, who was notified of the meeting, proof of mailing, and a certificate of mailing is included. Our deed to the property showing that Patrick and Shanley are the owners of this property, and our application for appeal that we filed with the ZBA. Our hearing is better late than never is tomorrow at 2 p.m. under calendar number MI-2022-005267. And again, we really appreciate the opportunity to present this project to the community. All right.
Wonderful, Alan, and if I can just break in for just one moment, I just can assure everyone. So first of all, thank you for your introduction. I just can assure everyone here that we have received all your necessary materials. And so we are happy to view everything. We encourage you to move quickly through this L&I notice and also the certification of mailings. And we look forward to particularly the information about what you plan to do and your arguments. So I just add that to just save you a little bit of time and to allow you to focus on what's most important.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so I will quickly go a little quicker because everyone wants to eat dinner, including myself. So the notice of refusal is the operative document. So again, we already have, this is an RM1 property where, again, this was originally a 4-unit building, which has been downgraded for all intents and purposes to a single family abode. And we're looking to, again, put 2 parking spots at the rear of the property on Panama Street where there's no off-street parking or on-street parking allowed. And we have 2 refusals. First, as Veronica stated, because there's not a common driveway or alleyway, we're being refused for that purpose. Again, we're not taking any parking spots on the street off. And we're lessening the burden of the neighborhood by putting these 2 parking or these 2 cars off of the street. The second refusal is a technical refusal, as you'll see from their photos. We're putting I don't even know if it would be considered a deck, but almost like a walkway from the rear of our property to like this breezeway area where then my clients will have access when they leave their cars to go to the rear of their property where there'll be a door for their kitchen. So really it's a deck in name only. Anyway, this the vertical supports have to be technically 1.5 feet away from the party line. We're at 0. Again, and I have Logan Dry here. That's from a structural integrity standpoint. It actually makes sense to actually have these posts hugging the party wall rather than 1.5 feet away from there. And then we'll go, you saw the streets approvals. And then really what's important is here. We made it a real big effort to reach out to our neighbors. And as you can see, we're the bubble in green, and there's 11 other homes in close proximity who are in support of this project. And again, I just make an illustration so you can see what we try to do, but everyone who's in close proximity supports this project. And then I always have obviously the backup. So we had some people electronically sign it, some people sign in person. But again, Patrick and Shanley live nearby. They're very involved in the community. They can explain that as well, but it's really important for them to get the support of nearby neighbors. And then similarly situated properties. Here's the perfect example next door, 2316. You can see it's almost a mirror image of what we're planning to do here. So there's 2-car parking right here. And then you can see that this is an elevated area on the first floor. And you can't see it here, but this is the deck, which leads to it's almost like a walkway along the breezeway where there's rear access. And then there's steps leading down to the lower level, the basement level, separate and apart. We're mimicking exactly what's at 2316. And obviously they're in support of this project as well, or this use of the property. But you can also see from here, again, most people use their backyards for parking. And then again, here's your 2320 through 2316 Delancey, rear access off-street parking. As you can see, there's no parking allowed on Panama, and there's a good use for that, the rear of the property to allow for parking. Here's 2308 through 2312 Delancey, same situation. 2301 and 2303 Delancey, same situation. 2305 Delancey, same situation. 2317 and 19 Delancey, same situation. Again, this part of the neighborhood technically is RM1, which allows for multifamily use. These are beautiful homes, and Patrick and Shanley has, over the course of the past year or so, have restored it to its natural beauty of single family use. And then you can just see where we are. We're right behind Fiddler Square. And then photographs of the property, again, a beautiful property inside and out. And again, they're looking forward to moving into this property. And this is the last step in that process. And then here's just, again, they're doing the construction legally with building permits. But I just want to give you an idea of what we're trying to do visually. So here's the landing where hopefully, where the parking spots are. But you can see they built a temporary bridge, which would lead to where these double buckets are. It's the opening to where their kitchen is, that door. So all they're trying to do is create a walkway from the parking pads to the first floor of their property. And they're going to expand this deck area just slightly. It's going to be like 6 feet in width. So it's not a huge deck area, but it mimics 2316. And then there are going to be steps leading down to the lower level as well. So the person can have access from the lower level and the first level to the parking pads. And then I figured we needed to do this for tomorrow's hearing, but I know it's really important to make sure that we properly post the property from an orange notice perspective from the property and the rear of the property. And then Delancey Place to the right of the property, Delancey Place to the left of the property, Panama Street to the right of the property. Again, no parking along Panama. As you can see, there's a row of garages. And then Panama Street to the left of the property. Again, no parking allowed. So we're not taking any spots off of the street. And then our plans and drawings. And again, just to kind of highlight this, here are the parking pads. Parking pads are allowed as of right. Just the use of the parking pads requires a technical variance. And then the plus signs are just our deck, but you can see that walkway is similar to the walkway the deck will be similar to the walkway that's there. It's just slightly increased that width where it touches the building facade. And then you can see the steps that are leading down to the lower level. Again, this is for Patrick Shanley's own personal use. And then just our community meeting notice. Again, it's important to us to show this February 28th, 7 p.m. It was sent out 2 weeks ago. We tried to give enough notice. 118 addresses were notified. Addresses are in here. Proof of mailing to those addresses, our deed to the property showing that Patrick and Shanley own the property, and our application for appeal. So with that being said, I would ask that Patrick Shanley just unmute themselves. I know that they've been active members of the community, and to just say why they're here.
Hello, I'm Patrick. This is my wife Shanley. So that Alan really summed it up well. But we purchased the property about 18 months ago. We've been renovating it since, and we're going through the process of putting parking in the rear. And the parking would be 2-car parking, so that would be 2 cars that come off of the street and go onto private property. Right now, we live on the 2400 block of Pine. And this has always been our dream house whenever planning in Fittler to see the back of it. And we're excited to move in and continue to be, good members of the community. Anything else, Alan?
No, I think that's it. I think we summed it up.
All right. Well, thank you. I think that's a very clear presentation, and thank you for that. So now what I will do is I will turn to the members of the committee and ask if they have any questions, and I'll just go down my list here. After I ask the members of the committee if they have any questions, I'll turn to the members of the public. So if you're an interested community member, if you can just please wait just one moment, we'll turn to you shortly. So just going down our list here, Steve Rubin, any questions?
Yes, is there going to be any kind of a door at the end of the parking area separating it from Panama Street, or is it going to be open to Panama Street?
Yes, it will be like a similar roll-up door to 2320, 2318, and then similar. I mean, the 2316 is the garage front, but like that, like the roll-up door. If that makes sense.
So this is going to be a metal roll-up door.
Yes.
Would you consider a different kind of door that would be maybe a little bit more attractive facing Fittler Square, or perhaps going with no door at all?
I'd be concerned about safety going with a smaller door. That is consistent with the other door. Like, so for the whole row of me heading west is all single family homes, and they are immaculate. I mean, if you look at them, they're beautiful, even with that roll up door. Whereas if you look to the east, it's all rental properties, and they're all kind of open and like shabby wooden fences, and it's not attractive. But I'm, extremely sensitive to Fittler Square and having it be attractive from there. And I really think that this is going to be an attractive way to do it. And I have that in mind when designing everything.
Will the door be, the door that you have in mind, will it be just pure metal, or will it be painted or decorated in any fashion?
Well, so it should be a metal door. But it's like not, it's a very attractive metal door as much as it could be for a residential home of this level. And then it should be brick all the way around it, the brick frame. which is typical with what historic will approve. Do you follow me on the brick frame above and below on the sides?
I do, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the same kind of door that would be used in the warehouse, in other words?
Oh, come on.
I don't know that it's the same door as when I think warehouse, I think of something that's more industrial looking. Alan, do we have the pictures of the ones next door? Is that possible?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I can share my screen.
And just as we do this, I just want to remind everyone that our focus is on zoning and zoning concerns. So of course, we're interested in impacts on the community, but most especially we are a zoning committee with zoning concerns.
Don't mean to make anyone nauseous here.
Those were all those were like
Yeah.
these. So this one with the frame, not this one with the center, not the center one, because that one it has like the rolling face on the outside, but the one with the brick frame, and then they did the nice roll up door on the interior. So all you see from the exterior is
Which
like that.
one is-
Yeah. So right. So this is a perfect example. They have a beautiful door, like, as beautiful as a new metal door could be. And then also the rolling mechanical is hidden behind that brick and facing in towards the property. Whereas the frame from the exterior onto Fiddler Square is a very pretty brick that matches the rest of the brick on the road, the back of the homes.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Charles Robin, any questions?
Well, no questions, but I do echo what Steve just brought up. And the only comment I would have is that instead of a solid, in the past, I don't know if the architect's on the line or not, we've had metal roll-up doors that perforated, that allow us to see in. If the architect is here, I could just comment on it, but I'll take my question off. But I think that Steve hit on a lot of good points that I was going to bring up.
Okay. So it sounds like you've made a point and then you're echoing what Steve had said and you don't have.
Well, if the architect's here and you can discuss or the solid versus perforated, we've had that in the past.
Yeah, this is Logan. I'm the architect. Ultimately, I think a lot of it's going to be up to historic, because we got to, once, assuming we get the zoning for it, the next step would be taking it through historic so that they can, give their opinion on it. But my thought is that it would probably end up being, if not a fully solid roll-up gate, some form of translucency to it. But ultimately, it would be up to Philadelphia Historic to, give the final sign off on that design. But I'm assuming they'd be looking for something that's, perhaps a hybrid between solid and open, while still giving Patrick sort of the security that he needs as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Charles?
No, thank you.
Wonderful. Ben Zuckerman?
Yeah, my only comment is without the door, everybody walking by is looking at the back of cars and trash cans and who knows whatever else is there. For my aesthetic sense, a roll-up door is a lot more attractive to look at than what's in an open parking lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Doug Meller, any questions?
No, thanks. No question.
Flora Becker, any questions? Thank you. Jacob Cooper, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Robin Sweet, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
And Andre Geffen, any questions?
Yeah, just to confirm, the variance at issue is about the deck, not the door, or is it about both?
Both.
It is about both. So because we're in
Okay.
a common alleyway, we technically need to get a variance for this off-street parking, but there's no parking allowed on that side or at all on Panama.
All right, thank you.
Wonderful. And Ben Weinraub, any questions?
Yeah, any possibility we're taking a space that right now looks like it previously was gravel and certainly pervious and absorb some moisture, anywhere to get some greenery or some pervious material so that we're not dumping all of that back into the sewer system in the river?
Yeah, I definitely planned on some sort of paver system. I'm open to, I would talk to the architect and be open to like some sort of open pavers. That would be fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for, conserving water.
I don't see anywhere that you could really do a sizable planting or trees, but yeah, I think the pavers would be great if you'll commit to that.
Pavers? Yeah, sure.
Great, thank you. Is there any other member of the zoning committee on the call whose name I haven't mentioned yet? I believe I've caught everyone, but all right, wonderful. I'd like to open it up now to community questions. If you're a community member and have a question, can you please raise your hand? And what I will do is you can use the raise hand feature and you can find that at the bottom of your screen, and I will call on people as I see their hands raised. So Jerry Schellenberg, apologies for any mispronunciations. Can you please let us know your name and if I've mispronounced it, and also your address?
If you pronounce my name correctly, it's my wife, Mary Ersick. We live at 2414 Pine Street, a couple houses up from where Patrick and Shanley live. We know them. They're very active people. We've used Fittler Square, and I feel that the getting cars off the street is a very big positive because parking is tough. And I think that the alleyway looks much better with the houses that have a garage door, a door in front of them rather than an open yard. So I'm very much in favor of this proposal.
And I would echo the exact sentiments. We're in full support of this variance.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there any other member of the community who would like to raise their hand and comment on this property? I see Michael, and apologies for mispronunciations, Debaike. I welcome you to unmute yourself and state your name and address for the committee and your points.
Thank you. Valiant effort. It's not an easy name to pronounce. It's Dutch. Probably should be DeBeka. We say DeBeck. I'm Michael DeBeck. I live next door to Shanley and Patrick, and I couldn't be more supportive in anything and everything they do. They are wonderful people. They care about our community more than anybody I know. I mean, literally. And I don't see why this variance or variances should not be approved. When it comes to rolling garage doors or open areas, meaning no garage door, I don't have a personal preference. I mean, I go to Cotaletta on the square all the time. I think it would be preferred for everybody to have a garage door or rolling door there, of course, just like some of the other fellows and ladies had mentioned. And if not, that's really not the point. Just having their two cars at their disposal and two less cars in the street in this very difficult parking situation would be wonderful. And I wish them all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other community members? I see FREADM. Can you please
yes,
unmute yourself and state your name and address for the committee?
I think I'm unmuted, right?
You are.
My name is Monica Freed, and I live on 24th Street, right directly across from Fittler Square. So I walk down that alley all the time. I'm also on the board of the Fittler Square Improvement Association, and I know Shanley from that as well. And she's fantastic. And so I care about it, not just because of where I live, but also because I care about Fittler Square and my role on the board. And I definitely agree with what they want to do. I think it's going to look much better. And everything they do is always really in a very high, done really well and nicely. And so I know that this will as well. So I definitely support it.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else from the committee, from the community who would like to speak about this project? If there's anyone from the community, did I see a hand go up? No, I see a committee member, Ben Zuckerman, would you like to speak about this project?
I'm the secretary of this committee, and in view of the fact that you have a ZBA hearing tomorrow, I intend to get our decision letter out to you tonight,
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
and it will be sent to them. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ben. Is there anyone else from the committee or from the community who would like to speak on this project? If there is anyone who is not able to work the raise hand feature, would I invite you to unmute yourself and speak openly about the project at this time? All right, seeing none, I'm going to thank Alan and Patrick and Shanley for having presented their information. Thank you for having presented your case to the CCRA Zoning Committee. We look forward to reviewing it in our closed session, and as Ben Z said, we will get you a decision this evening. So thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to Alan and to Patrick and Shanley, and also thank you to the community members who attended who were interested in that project.
Thank you.
We're now going to move to our next project, which is 1904 let me please forgive me. Let me get the exact address correct. To our next project, 1904 to 40 Sampson Street. We'll move to this project now. Now, this is a project for an application for the establishment of existing unity of use to create one parcel of the three contiguous parcels, and those are at 1907 to 15 Walnut Street, 1917 Walnut Street, and 1904 to 40 Sampson Street, to preserve the unity of use and for a sit-down restaurant with multi-family household living, 281 dwelling units, personal service, and all other uses as previously approved. No sign on this application. And this is a referral. And the reason for the referral is that the proposed sit-down restaurant is a special exception to Chestnut and Walnut Street area west. And as we move forward, I would just like to say, previously heard a refusal and now we're hearing a referral. And those are slightly different. And for a referral, the burden is on the community why not to accept the zoning change. So now what I would like to do is I would like to ask if there are representatives from 1904 to 40 Sampson Street on the call.
That would be myself. Hi.
Hi, Gussie. Wonderful. Gussie, I would like to turn it over to you now for your presentation. And just as with the previous presentation, I can assure everybody on the call that we have received all your materials. So I invite you to move more quickly through the zoning notice and the referral notice and the certified mailings and focus on your proposed plans.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for taking the time to meet with us tonight. My name is Gussie O'Neill. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Clare, Harrison, Harvey, Brandsburg. With me this evening is Brian Emmons. He's part of the development team for the project, as well as Monica Piscina. She is the project architect. And I will move fairly quickly because this is a pretty straightforward application. This is actually just an application for a sit-down restaurant. I know it's a little confusing because the referral has all this language about the existing unity of use, but I'll get into all of that. So this is an application to put a sit-down restaurant in a building that a lot of you are probably familiar with as the Laurel. It's zone CMX4, as you can see from this zoning map. There's a unity of use that's already in place for zoning purposes, which is easy to see with this site map here. So as you can see, this is the Laurel, and then this is actually 3 lots, but for zoning purposes, this is considered 1 lot. And because the Laurel faces out onto Walnut Street, even though the proposed restaurant is right in this area, we're still subject to that overlay, which says that if we're going to propose a sit-down restaurant, we have to pursue a special exception from the city. So I previously provided a exhibit booklet, which I'd just like to briefly walk through with some pictures. So this is a aerial, like I said, of the overall site. And then just to give everyone a better idea, this property is already under construction. So this restaurant is actually going to go right in this area. This was an image that was taken just last week. So this is showing the status of construction at the moment. This is actually going to be a Schulzen branded restaurant. So it's higher end. It's not a nightclub kind of a restaurant. Anyone who's familiar with the Schulzen brand is familiar with other restaurants that are under the Schulzen umbrella, like Sampan, Harp and Crown, and Double Knot. So higher end, really nice restaurants. Provided in the exhibit package were some renderings of the interior of the proposed restaurant, which you can see looks really nice. The aesthetic that we're going for here is something vibrant, a lot of interesting textures, and I'll go through this. If anyone needs me to slow down or go a little faster, just let me know. But as you can see, there's going to be a lot of colors to catch the eye. Really a nice, attractive looking restaurant. And as far as operations of the restaurant, the hours are going to be typical for other restaurants that are in Center City. So usually an 11 a.m. opening, closing around midnight. On the weekend, you're probably going to see later hours. There's going to be a daily pickup of trash. It's going to be stored within the building. There's also a loading dock area that's at the Laurel. So that loading dock is going to be used for trash pickups and deliveries to the restaurant. So that loading dock is really going to help lessen the impact that any restaurant use would have to neighbors of the property. So with that being said, go back to the site plan. Just again, so everyone has an idea of what we're referring to. And so myself and Brian are available to the extent that anyone has any questions about operations, but I think it's a fairly straightforward application. And I know we're closing in on 8, so I didn't want to.
All right, well, thank you. That's a very focused presentation. Did anyone else on your team want to add anything, or that's we'll move, or can we move to the committee questions?
Brian, were there any operational?
No, I don't think operationally there's any questions. I just wanted to thank everybody for your time. You know, we spent nearly 3 years on the approval of the Laurel, and you know, we're excited to get the project open, and couldn't be more proud to have a Schulzen restaurant in the building to top it off. So we appreciate your time and attention today.
All right, well, thank you. All right, so now I'll go through and I'll ask the committee whether it has any questions. So I'll begin with Steve Rubin. I'll begin with you again. Any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Charles Robin?
No questions, thank you.
Ben Zuckerman?
Just curious, what will the seating capacity of the restaurant be?
The interior seating capacity is going to be 120 seats.
I'm sorry, 120?
120. Mm-hmm.
There's no exterior seating?
So I believe that the intent is to have some outdoor, and Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's 32, currently there's 32 outdoor dining spaces that they're planning for, but they'll have to go through the streets department for an outdoor cafe permit should they choose to pursue that. But they've designed it in, and we're hopeful that they would add some outdoor seating. I think that would really add some eyes and ears, and you know, some activity to a corner that for decades has just been blank. So
that's not part of this proposal, correct?
That is correct. That is not.
Okay, thank you. Ben Weinraub? Okay, Doug Miller?
Would that seating be on 20th Street or on Sampson Street?
On Sampson Street. Yeah, it would, right now, it would all be on Sampson Street.
So across from the Shake Shack?
No, that would actually be across from Kate's Place.
Kate's Place. Okay, thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Flora Becker?
You're on mute.
There you are.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have no questions. Where is the trash though? Just to clarify, where will the trash be picked up? On Sansom Street?
Yes, right
Or
off of
just-
Sansom Street. We have an off-site loading area. The trash will be located in there. It's the same loading dock that we approved for the Laurel, where trash for the entire building will be picked up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob Cooper,
No questions, thanks.
Robin Sweet,
No questions, thank you.
Andre Geffen.
No questions, thank you.
All right. I think that that's the entire committee. Is there anyone on this call who is a member of the community who would like to ask a question about this project? All right. Seeing none, I think that we have moved through this at record speed. I don't see any further questions for this property. So Gussie and Brian, thank you for your presentation and for being so clear and concise. I believe that barring any questions, we can now close this part of the meeting and the committee will move into closed session. And then when we make our decision, we will email it out to you. We will do that within the next 48 hours.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you again, everyone, for your time tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentations.
Sure, absolutely.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So let me just, here we are. This is just us. How about that? All right, wonderful. Patrick Campbell, I see that you're still on the call. I will move him to the waiting room. I think he's just lingering here.
You
All
want to
right.
kill that recording as well?
Yes, excellent.
My favorite part of the evening.
You like that? Thanks.